Hey, it looks like we are live on Facebook. Happy Travel Tuesday. And Brian, we're obviously celebrating something besides just travel today.
Absolutely. Today is Flag Day, June 14th, and you can see by our backgrounds, we're here promoting Flag Day. What a wonderful honor for our country.
That's right. And it's also, reminds people that, wait, it's Flag Day, 4th of July is right around the corner, summer travel. If you haven't gotten those plans totally in place yet, you better hurry up because the clock is ticking, right?
Well, the clock is ticking. There's a lot of good things out there, but a lot of people are getting the same idea as well, Elizabeth. So a lot of travelers going. And, we had some good news earlier this past weekend. Travelers returning to the United States no longer have to negative test when they're traveling in by air. So that's actually some really good news for our traveling public. And for those that have been just kind of sitting by the sidelines waiting because they didn't want to go through that process. So some really good news there.
Right. And as you can remember, at Easter time, I ended up taking that flight out of Toronto down to Florida. So I had to have a negative test for that. But so you're saying that wouldn't be required anymore for travel like that?
Absolutely. So it wouldn't be required anymore. And, some of the good news, some of the ripple effect with that is, we've seen in the news the long lines at airports, especially in Europe, Amsterdam, some of the major hubs. Hopefully this will ease some of that. So, reporting those test results and getting those in and verifying that. I'm not saying it's going to go away immediately, but I think that, there should be an ease with some of that. And of course, we've had many members that have said to us throughout this period, I'm ready to travel. I just don't want to take the chance of having to, quarantine if I test positive before I can come home. So actually, that's some really good news all the way around.
Definitely. And I happened to be out at AAA Orchard Park at our travel and insurance center yesterday. And a few of the travel agents were buzzing about Southwest opening up its calendar. So that's going to happen this week on Thursday. So you'll be able to book through, I think it's January 4th.
Yeah, so Southwest always opens their schedule in blocks. And so this week they're going to open the block through the end of the year, which encompasses the holidays, which people are waiting for as well. Of course, typically legacy carriers put their schedules out 330 days in advance. However, Southwest is one of those that do it in blocks. And we're very excited that those will be in the system, hopefully this Thursday.
Yeah, so be ready because people will be waiting to pounce on those, of course, because we're talking Thanksgiving travel, Christmas, New Year's, year-end holiday travel. So a lot of people will be looking to scoop up some flights there.
And I don't want to disappoint people. Just because that schedule is out doesn't mean that they're offering their lowest deep discounted fares on certain days around the holidays. So, it's out there and you can grab some good deals. However, they don't typically offer their deepest discount on certain days around holidays. So I just want to frame that up, but people can definitely, plan their holiday schedules and we can certainly help them do that as well.
A lot of Bills fans are waiting for that schedule to come out too, because they already have their game tickets for some of these away games. They want to make sure they can get the flights that they want.
Absolutely. It's a win-win all the way around.
Sure. And, if you can't get the flights you want, driving is always an option depending on the location, how far you want to go across the country for something like a Bills game. However, these gas prices really just skyrocketing. 501 is the national average right now, and the New York State average is over $5 a gallon. But Buffalo's still at about $4.90, as well as some other areas on the central and western end of the state. But unfortunately, this demand is up. And as we approach 4th of July and more people traveling and the summer road trips getting underway, it looks like prices are going to stay elevated for a while, but hopefully we can catch a break at some point.
I'm hoping so, that it's definitely noticeable. And I think, I'm not sure that many people have kind of changed their routines yet. But if it keeps up for a while, I definitely think that, people are going to rethink some of their activities or just maybe their daily routines or their weekly shopping trips and, combine some of that all in one outing.
Sure. And a lot of people, I'm sure, will be asking to work from home extra days so they don't have that commute, thinking about how they can conserve fuel, like you said, on a daily basis. But when it comes to taking that trip, we know there's a pent up demand. And in the past, high gas prices haven't hindered travel. Of course, this is the highest gas prices have ever been. So it's possible, but we know people will still want to take those getaways. Maybe they won't go as far as they thought, but there's still plenty of places to go. And AAA can help, whether that's right here in your own backyard, throughout New York State, or beyond.
Absolutely. And I think that we're going to see more of that. People are going to, inquire for many options, whether it is by car. I have to tell you, I'll be honest with you, and we all know it, airfares are creeping up, whether it's domestic or international. Airfares are on the rise. And of course, all of those, costs associated with air travel, whether it's airport personnel, flight crew, there's shortages of flight crew, again, supply and demand, the fuel, it all adds up to increased costs. However, I have to tell you, the planes are full. So there is the element of the traveling public that say, you know what, we're going anyway. We haven't gone for a couple of years. We really want to have this wonderful summer vacation, family experience, education, all of the above.
Yeah, so we definitely know that people want to get out. So where do you think they're going to be going? I mean, I know we have some great offers to share, and cruising is making a comeback. So a lot of people cruising, and of course, going to East Coast beaches. Anything else that you're seeing on the radar?
Absolutely. There are, and I want to mention, Hertz car rental. Right now, they're offering 15% off a base rate on a weekly rental. So, if people don't want to put miles on their own vehicle, or they may want to rent more of a fuel efficient car, that's valid for pickup dates through the end of June. I'm sure as we get into the main summer months, we'll see some additional ones, but people look to that for, a road trip. So that's an option. Cruising, Elizabeth, as you know, is really big right now. June is Celebrity Cruise Month at AAA, and so they still have their 60% off second guest program right now. So a lot of opportunity there. Royal Caribbean, they just offered, there's a lot of folks out there that still have future cruise credits and future travel credits from the height of the pandemic. Royal Caribbean is offering a $100 onboard credit for booking a new cruise with the use of future credits. Plus, they have some great discounts and upgrades available. So that's a win-win all the way around with getting that bonus and using your future cruise credit.
So if you're going on the cruise, you still need, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but negative tests. I mean, that depends on the CDC and the cruise line. So you're not necessarily exempt, right? Just because of the international flights.
Absolutely. So cruise lines, as of now, are still requiring negative tests to board. Now, getting off a cruise ship, you never had to test negative to get off a boat in the United States. Even though it went to a foreign destination or a foreign port, you didn't have to test negative to get off. But you do getting on. And my gut is, Elizabeth, that probably will be in place for the foreseeable future, the immediate future, I should say. They have been very methodical and very careful with their protocols, and they want to keep those in place and keep the cruisers as safe and healthy as they can be.
Of course, and that's their number one priority. They want everyone to enjoy themselves, but of course, stay healthy. And we have to remind everyone that we have a special guest joining us on our radio program this Saturday. It's on at 8:30 a.m. on the Big WEC, WECK in Buffalo, but it's available right through their app, no matter where you're located. And Susan Prinzing from Royal Caribbean is going to join us and bring us up to date on everything about cruising, those health and safety protocols, but of course, the latest offers and what's new with the latest innovations at sea.
Absolutely. And they have the majority of all of their ships now are sailing with guests, which is really great. And earlier I mentioned about that future cruise credit bonus of the onboard credit. You couple that with their current savings of 30% off every guest and some additional bonuses. You can't afford to stay home, Elizabeth. You really have to get on that cruise ship and enjoy a wonderful family summer vacation.
There you go. So whether you're cruising, you're taking that road trip, you're traveling by air, there's a lot of different options out there. But just remember, plan ahead, make sure you know what to expect. Don't have it be a guessing game. And that's going to help you get through everything a lot smoother. But of course, our travel agents are always available to help too.
Yeah, absolutely. And one last promotion I wanted to offer, river cruising in the US, so popular this summer. Of course, in the height of the pandemic, people stayed within the country, but American Queen Voyages, companion sails free. And that offer expires at the end of June. So what a great way to see some of the beautiful US rivers. And these are new ships, refurbished ships. It's a wonderful way to celebrate our flag and celebrate our country.
That's for sure. And we know how popular that's becoming, and so many people interested in that and exploring and appreciating all the beauty that we have right here in the US.
It's amazing. We all learned a lot during the pandemic.
We did. And Flag Day is the perfect day to consider that and book that trip. Look into it.
Absolutely. You know that.
Well, I feel like we should start singing It's a Grand Old Flag, but my singing skills really aren't up to par, so I'm going to spare you that.
Well, that would take me back to grammar school days, and I remember them fondly. I mean, we really could. We should have had a soundtrack ready to play. So it was a good thought, Elizabeth, but I think I wouldn't do good on any one of the singing competitions. So we'll spare our friends watching this from that.
Yeah, you and I will share the travel updates on Travel Tuesday and leave the singing to someone else. How's that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But if people do want information from AAA, they can always pop in and see us.
They can stop in and see us. They can give us a call, 855-862-6651. Our branches are open. Actually, I was out in the Amherst branch earlier today, and it was busy. Every advisor had someone at their desk. So the traveling bug and fever is out there, Elizabeth.
Yeah, 'tis the season. So like we said, a great day to book that trip, and you're not alone because, as you said, a lot of people looking into it and looking forward to getting out there and enjoying a safe summer. So if you need any other information, of course, AAA.com as well. But we wish everyone a safe and happy Flag Day and Travel Tuesday.
Bye, everybody.